Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Wonderfully Whole Conversations, where we highlight individuals in the wellness field and the work that they're doing to help people become whole. Today, I have my friend Rachel Mazzarelli, the owner of Whole Health Tomography, with me. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you.
I thank you. Thank you for agreeing to be on this wonderfully whole conversation this evening. And Rachel, we know that this month is recognized for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Many are told to take their yearly screening of mammograms, and if they have dense breasts, they are told to do ultrasounds. Our statistics indicate that 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with this dreadful disease. And they tell us the race is on for the cure, which which is good. But today I wanted to bring you on to highlight this non-invasive screening, which every woman should consider. It is not well known among some of the conventionally trained gynecologists because up to 2015, when I was going to one gynecologist, she never knew anything about it. And even when I brought it up, she showed no interest in finding out what tomography is. And I was her patient for many years. I thank God that I learned it's about 8 years now, from 2016, when my friend Brenda introduced you to me and tomography. I was just taken aback, you know. So I, I want you to discuss in detail the science behind tomography, what it is, and its benefits. Now, before we go into um, talking about what tomography is, I want us to look at the steps that we could take. How women can maintain healthy breasts, because going to the gynecologist every year and you just you go get a prescription for to get screened for early detection of cancer. I believe it's not good enough. An ounce of care, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of care. So there are ways, there are steps that we could do to have healthy breasts. So I want you to go into that in detail. But before I'm going ahead of my time. I want to read your bio because I just love your bio, Rachel. So I want to read your bio so the audience um, will get a feel for who you are. I know we don't have anybody on yet, but as they come on and when people look at this video later, they're going to get a feel for who you are. So let me read your bio. Rachel Mazzarelli was born with healthy living in her blood. I like that. Both her mother and grandmother were self described health nuts, educating themselves about good nutrition and the importance of daily exercise long before it was popular. When Rachel was born, she became the recipient of their knowledge and healthy habits. These early lessons will become the building blocks of the philosophy she holds today about whole health. Rachel studied business at the University of Hartford. While in college, her continued passion for healthy living inspired her also to become an aerobic instructor and personal trainer. After graduation, Rachel opened her own fitness business specializing in corporate wellness. She was able to combine her college degree in business and her passion for fitness by creating wellness programs for the employees of Texaco and Beringa. During her time in corporate wellness, Rachel became a certified yoga teacher and obtained a master's degree in clinical nutrition from the University of Bridgeport, which enabled her to offer a more in-depth nutrition and stress management component to her programs. I think that's a great thing. Armed with her corporate wellness experience and her back to basics philosophy for better health, Rachel launched her own practice in 2004, Whole Health LLC. Her desire was to teach clients how to listen to their own bodies while providing them with strategies and programs to address those needs. True to her self care model, Rachel took a hiatus from whole health to be a full-time parent during her children's early years. And I love that. That's so important for women to hear. It was during this time she started realizing how unknown tomography still was. Getting tomograms for almost a decade, Rachel knew firsthand its benefits for monitoring breast health. Wanting to offer this preventative tool to clients, Rachel became a certified clinical tomographer once her children were in full-time school full-time. Rachel truly loves helping people find healthy living and believes a vital, healthy life requires a whole health approach encompassing sleep, nutrition, exercise, stress management, passions, activities, spirituality, positive attitude, and relationships. A wonderful bio that people could get to know who Rachel is. Now, Rachel, before we go into this science of tomography and using it as a preventative tool, because we're looking to help women here, I want us to go through some steps that women could grasp this evening, how they could have healthy breasts, that they could be proactive. They don't have to wait on a diagnosis. So we want to look at some things, and we want to look at seeing that you're a nutritionist. We want to look at nutrition. We could start from there, nutrition.
Yeah, so thank you for having me, first of all. It's always a joy to be with you. So nutrition is a big topic when it comes to health, especially when it comes to women's health, because for a large period of our lives, we change every month, our cycles, and then for a big chunk of our lives, we don't. And so healthy eating is important at all phases of our lives, that we want to eat real food. We want to eat clean food as much as possible. So organics, shopping as locally as we can, and really doing what we can to eliminate toxins. Because what happens often, especially or in the breast area, is that we have toxic buildup. And there's something out there called xenoestrogens, which are chemicals and things that happen from byproducts of plastics, and they affect our hormones and our hormone balance. And for women, it's important that our hormones stay balanced in order for us to stay healthy. So for the breast specifically, cruciferous vegetables are amazing. That's your broccolis and your cauliflowers. Ground flaxseed is amazing. We want to be aware of caffeine intake in any way that it comes in. And for people that are sensitive, it's very important. If you're not sensitive, then it's not so important. It's important to think about an alkaline diet. So things that are going to keep us more alkaline are vegetables and proteins, certain proteins. Again, the importance of making sure that protein, which is crucially important for our health, is organic. Everything at the root of everything is energy. And so we want to think about what we put in our bodies is energy. And what is that going to do? How was it grown? How was it cared for? Oh, and one more thing before we leave nutrition, water.
Yes.
Water is crucially important. We're 70, 80% water. And it's important that we are staying incredibly well hydrated and drinking clean water. Um, Tap water it's not clean. And our water systems and our air, everything, there's pollution everywhere. And that's not to live in fear, it's to live in knowledge and to figure out how to be proactive about that. There's a lot of information out there now, the importance of adding electrolytes to your water and even Himalayan salt, lemon in your water
Yes.
in the morning.
Yes. And that's how I start my day off. And I encourage people to do the same.
Me too.
You get up, you start with
Yep.
warm water with lemon in it, or some apple cider vinegar, just to alkaline the body. So we want to start with that and continue with that. So, and I love that you mentioned ground flaxseed, because in a lot of research that I have done, they recommend ground flaxseed that as it could reduce cancer for women by 50% by taking just a tablespoon of ground flaxseed a day, you know. So I'm happy that you brought that up, and the green vegetables. What about exercise? Uh, because we are well-rounded people. We want proper nutrition and we
Absolutely.
want to exercise. You are a fitness trainer. You went to school for that. What about exercise? And what kind of exercise is that we should tell women that they should, incorporate in their lifestyle?
Well, I think it's important, and you'll be a better expert about this than I will at this point, but I think it's important to just recognize the importance of living an active lifestyle. So we don't want to just go to the gym and then sit on the couch all day or sit at our desks all day, but how can we really try to incorporate movement throughout our day? So that's number one. And, park a little bit further, stand when you're at your desk, move around, go take a little bit of a walk in between doing tasks. And then, of course, the actual act of exercising is important. And the one thing that I've been learning in the last however many years is how the different phases of our life, especially as women, um, offers us a different opportunity to exercise differently based on our hormones and based on where we are in our cycles. And so the things that maybe we could do or we're doing in our 20s and 30s aren't maybe as positive or having the same impact in our 40s, 50s, and beyond, once we're in the perimenopause, menopause phase.
I like
So
I, I like that, because you don't want to be doing some heavy duty exercise in your 50s, and it could throw off some things.
absolutely. And so it's really being educated. And I think, one of the great things about where we are in today's day and age is that there is so much information. One of the bad things is that you can often find bad information. So following the people that are really at the top of the research regarding the phase of life that you're in is very important. And I think for women, especially the perimenopause, menopause years, recognizing where you are with stress is probably at the top of the food chain of how it dictates your exercise regimen, because what we don't want to do is continue to create a stress response if we are living in that fight or flight situation. And so we used to think maybe you needed 20 to 60 minutes of cardiovascular exercise. Now, for women, doing a HIIT training is the proper way. Again, really hammering proper, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And weight training is incredibly important for women.
Yes. What do you think about rebounding?
I
Because I
love rebounding.
Yeah,
Yes. So that ties us into the lymphatic system.
yes, talk about that. That's very important.
Yeah. So the lymphatic system, I think, is probably the most undervalued or ignored system in our body. And it's crucially important because it travels throughout our whole body and it's how our body releases toxins. And so releasing toxin is obviously going to be crucially important for every aspect of your life. And the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. And so the rebounding is the thing when you bounce up and down regularly, it gets the system flowing and it needs to be flowing because it gets congested very easily. And areas of congestion can be in the jaw and the clavicle area, the underarm area, under the breast, the abdomen, the groin, behind the knees. And you may find that women actually talk about what's going on. I'm so swollen, my jowls, or they're getting lumps underneath their breast. You
Yeah,
know, they have that little pouch right in the groin area. And that's really indication that the lymphatic system isn't flowing. And so rebounding is an amazing thing to get the lymphatic system flowing. Skin brushing is another good
yes,
way.
yes.
I am a huge, huge advocate now of the vibration platform. I absolutely love that. And
You told
that
me about that. I have to get one myself.
it is, I love it. I use it definitely once a day, maybe twice a day. I see a big
Yes,
difference. The brand that I use is Life Pro. The high end brand is called Power Plate. But there's a lot of great research out there for that alone. A great massage, lymphatic massage person is worth their weight in gold, but finding someone amazing can be a challenge. And then
yes.
acupuncture and herbs. So there's a lot of things that we can do, keeping the body well hydrated, alkaline. We often think back to nutrition a little bit that uh, lemons and limes are acidic because they're citrus fruit, but they're actually alkaline, which is why you and I drink lemon water in the morning. And
Yes.
so keeping our body flushing with that kind of thing all day is great.
And I want you to just touch a little bit about encouraging women to reduce their sugar intake. It seems that there's a sugar addiction in this country, and sugar is hidden everywhere.
It
And
is. It is. And you know what? I'm not really a black and white person because I think that that is, you know, that doesn't really work for me. So I'm not going to say that I never eat sugar. I'm not going to say that my diet is perfect all the time because I want to be honest and certainly relatable.
yeah,
And but sugar is acidic, and sugar feeds cancer, and sugar feeds, it drops your immune system, and there's just so many, it's addictive, and it's empty calories, and it's, there's so many different things that why you would want to minimize sugar. And back to perimenopause, menopause, our bodies can't process it in the same way as we get older, which a lot of times for women is the belly fat,
yes.
because again, it comes in grains, it comes in alcohol, it comes in actual dessert. So we're getting it in so many different ways. And again, our bodies just don't have the same mechanism to process it. And it really is the ice cream sundae for cancer cells.
It's good to know. Now, this is a controversial topic. Seeing that you mentioned our lymphatic system is so important that we have to keep it moving so we don't have lymphatic congestion. What about antiperspirants?
Oh,
You could talk a little bit about that?
yes, I don't think it's controversial at all, actually. I think that it's super important to be aware that what you put on your skin is your largest organ. And it's crucially important to not slather it with toxicity. And regular antiperspirant is has aluminum in it. That's the thing that stops you from sweating. Number one, we want to sweat, and I know that it's inconvenient at certain times when you're wearing certain things, but that sweating mechanism is how we release toxin. And the antiperspirant, like I said, is aluminum. Aluminum is certainly linked to Alzheimer's. And so removing that from your underarm, I think, is crucially important. And deodorants in general, unless you're finding the non-toxic ones, there's fragrance in them, there's phthalates, there's all these other ingredients that are cancer causing and banned in many countries except ours. And so starting to read the back of labels and educate yourself, what are the top 5 ingredients that I should be avoiding in my personal care products, my lotions, my deodorant, everything, is a great way to start baby stepping, taking care of yourself. And again, those products are the very thing that are causing lymphatic congestion.
Yes, and they're hormone disruptors because
Absolutely.
even when you walk in to a department store and people want to spray you, a lot of these fragrances are carrying things that is just disrupting women's hormones, and they need to know that, and that is could go on to cancer. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. So all
Excuse
these
me one
things,
second, Judy, before you go on, I think it's worth noting, if you are desirous of taking some baby steps, looking at the back, if you could just start eliminating fragrance from everything that you buy, you'd be making a great step in the right direction towards better, healthier living. Because, like you said, a lot of these ingredients are hormone disruptors. We talked about the xenoestrogens earlier, and we want to, those hormone disruptors are the very things that throw our hormones. 70% of breast cancer is due to hormone imbalance. And so
could you
what
repeat that? Could you repeat that again?
70% of breast cancer is due to hormone imbalance. Now, the very powerful statistic is that 70% of our risk factor of getting breast cancer is lifestyle. So the great news is that's a massive number. That
Yes,
means we have so much that we could be doing to change that statistic you said earlier about 1 in 8. And before we leave lymphatic congestion, there's one more point. This one could be controversial, but not really, that you may not hit, and I think is super important regarding the lymphatic system, and that is bras.
yes. Mhm.
So underwire bras specifically, what they do is they constrict underneath the breast, which you have that mammary area, and any sort of constriction to the body is going to cause lymphatic congestion. And so, not, it be a slow process, but starting to really consider, avoiding underwire bras. And they make a lot of great bras out there now, pending the size of your
Yes,
breasts. There is the controversial topic that, does the underwire act as an antenna to all the EMF radiation? There is a whole world of people that believe it's not controversial at all. In fact, it makes perfect sense. And then there's other people that don't want to believe that. But as you think about anything that's tight, your tight workout pants, if you're in them all day, tight underwear, and especially the breasts, never sleeping with a bra on, always making sure your bra comes off as quickly as possible. And rebounding, you will likely be wearing a bra, but if you're not, great. And shaking your breasts with your own hands up and down
yes,
every
yes,
single day is crucially, it's just self-love.
yes. I'm so happy that you mentioned these things because a lot of women don't know, and they just going yeah for a mammogram, but there's nobody telling women how to be proactive so that they don't have this uh, dreadful disease. So now that we have went through some steps on maintaining healthy breasts, now what is tomography?
So
What is
thermography,
tomography?
Yes, a it is a thermal scanning that reads your temperature, your infrared heat that comes off of your body. It has been around for 30 years now, which is unbelievable considering the amount of people that still are unaware of its existence. It's a highly accurate test. And by that, I mean 83% accurate. There are some people that are say it's slightly higher, but to be conservative, 83% accurate, which is as accurate as a mammogram. Mammograms are somewhere in the neighborhood of 83, 86% accurate. And it's no radiation, it's no squishing. So it reads the temperature that radiates off of your body. And the gift of thermography is truly early detection of shift. So things that you might find on a breast thermogram are going to be information about lymphatics and congestion, because the bulk of the scanning is done like this. So you get your entire lymphatic area in the armpit underneath the breast. Then hormone imbalance. 70% of breast cancer is due to hormone imbalance, which we said earlier. It wouldn't be the test that I would say do a thermogram to test your hormones. There's other tests that would be, more beneficial for that, but you can get information if you have estrogen dominance going on. And then lastly, vascular activity angiogenesis, which is the creation of red blood cells. And the reason thermography is really early detection is we all have cancer cells in our body. And so the reason that we develop cancer is because our immune systems aren't functioning properly. A healthy being is constantly just killing cancer cells. So when you get that diagnosis, God forbid, what that doctor's saying to you is your immune system's not working properly. And unfortunately, you feel like you get told a death sentence sometimes, right? Instead of being told, let's see what we can do to build your immune system. And so you have that one cell in your breast that might be cancerous. Cancer duplicates every 90 days. So one cell, 90 days later, two, 90 days later, four, 90 days later, eight. In order for that mass to get big enough to be seen on a mammogram, it takes roughly 5 to 8 years. So when they say early detection, that's not really early detection because it's been growing that much time. Thermography, you could arguably see that beginning at your first appointment. 3 months later, when you need to do your follow-up in order to establish your baseline, you do that at 90 days just to see, is that angiogenesis process happening, or somewhere before 5 to 8 years. And so it really is early detection of any of these shifts, which are very cued into your breast health.
And that is so good. So why we are not told about tomography? And it has been around for over 30 years.
Yeah,
I,
that's the big question. I can
and
tell you that in 1984, they were deciding between mammograms and thermograms. And they went with mammograms for all the reasons that, I won't speculate or say, but they did. And it's a shame. There are countries that use thermograms and support thermograms much more than America. And again, it's not 100% accurate. Everyone needs to know that, but neither is a mammogram. It's not affected by density, which we know mammograms are, and that's why you need to have ultrasounds, but it is 100% safe, and it gives more information that is hopefully helpful for people to feel proactive about their breast health. I know you mentioned October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I've been very strong in trying to offer the idea of October being Breast Health Month
I like
because
that instead of that. Yes. Yes,
because
Rachel.
yeah, because I think that my other hat is I'm an energy worker, and I think that one of the disservices that we've done to women is the fear around getting breast cancer.
Yeah.
So instead of loving our breasts and assuming their health, people are scared of getting this disease that they may never come to get. But
Yes.
just the belief system around, or the fear around, I might get this or I'm going to get this, I believe is part of our problem.
Yes. And I love that you mentioned this. And you know that I'm a believer. Earlier this year, the Lord had me create I have to send one for you, a bless your breast card. And and this is the card, you know, and
Please
it's
send it. Yes.
about blessing your breast with the word of God. So it's a faith thing. We we are walking with faith, not with fear, because this is what all this, as you mentioned a couple of seconds ago, about the fear. People are fearful, but
Yep.
God wants us to have faith to know that His thoughts towards us are thoughts of wholeness. And this is what I'm emphasizing when I speak to women, that we are embracing God's thoughts of wholeness towards even our breasts. So we are not entertaining fear. And so he had me create this, okay? And I had a Christian herbalist formulate this lymphatic breast massage.
Great.
It's so important, and to massage the breast. So it is excellent. So go ahead. I just wanted to interject that because it's important. We don't want to live in fear. We want to live with wholesome thoughts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I can't even add anything. I'm so glad that you created that. That's an invaluable tool. And I hope all of your listeners and your clients, and please send me one, will
Yes,
utilize that, because if we can change the paradigm and help women feel empowered
yes,
by their health and
yes,
the gift of these magical bodies that are healing all the time. Every cell in our body is designed to perfection,
yes.
not for illness. And
No,
so we are always just trying to come back to that perfection. And I think that to tie in the nutrition, the exercise, the prevention, it's about what are you ingesting, right? What are you ingesting in every way?
yes,
And so, is it serving your greater good? Is it in alignment with your faith, in alignment with your truth of optimal health? And I think that if we sit in that, we know the answers to that. We know that sitting all day is not going to be good for us. We know
yes,
that unhealthy food isn't good for us. And it doesn't mean that we need to change radically right now. We just can look at what are we doing and what feels like a step I'm willing to take right now because I love myself that much.
yes. And another thing you mentioned about getting rid of stress. And I
Oh,
believe women, because women in the 21st century, they're under, because there's so many things on their plates. They're caregivers, they're wives, they're CEOs, entrepreneurs in ministry. There are so many things on their plate that it seems like there's a chronic stress is on them. So if we could teach women or to have better self-care and to lower or to get rid of chronic stress, we know we have some kind of stress, but we want to get rid of the chronic stress. We shouldn't be under that pressure all the time.
no.
So, and another thing I wanted to point out, when you send me the report on my tomogram, It shows if you have inflammation, and you know, so inflammation shows up if when you do this a tomogram, it shows up uh, your hormonal imbalance. So it's not just one thing, but you're seeing a comprehensive report in your tomogram. And
Yes.
one more thing, Rachel, could you describe after I get the report and it shows the green and the blues in the tomogram. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I think it's important. A lot of people, I think the unknown of what is it like to go and do this, what does the appointment look like is an important piece. So when you come to have a thermogram, it's a breast thermogram. It's a 30-minute appointment that when you come into the room, you will put on a gown. So you'll disrobe from the waist up. You need to acclimate to the temperature in the room, which is about 70 degrees. And you need to do that for 10 minutes. So you'll be sitting on a stool about 3 feet from myself and my camera and my laptop, propped on a tripod. And we're going to go over your health history. I take a rather extensive health history, but for the most part, we're going to do things as it correlates to your breast and your hormones and your teeth, actually, which are crucially important. I will address that because I think that's an important point to make sure people are aware of. So once we're done with your health history, you'll take your gown off. So you will be bare skinned. We'll take pictures of the breast, or I will take them. I will be about 3 feet from you, and the pictures take about a minute. That's it. Once the pictures are over, you'll get dressed. I send your report to a company that reads them. There's about 20 different medical doctors who are also certified to read thermography that read these reports. Once you're teamed up with a medical doctor, this is going to be your doctor always for thermography moving forward. So you always have the consistency of that same person looking at all of your old reports. In addition, if you wind up moving or you just feel like you want to work with somebody else, you can always stay with that same doctor and find a different clinician, me. So once I get the report back, I'm going to send it to my clients and I will let them know if there's anything that we need to go over. If it's just a good report, the doctor will give the interpretation. They'll classify your breasts in normal risk, low risk, some risk, increased risk, and the description of those classifications will also be on the report. You'll see your scans, which will, like you said, be in the rainbow scale, but they could be in black and in the gray scale as well. So when the doctors are reading the report, they're not reading the color, they're reading temperature. There's 60,000, 100,000 temperature readings per picture that I take, and they correlate all the temperature they see with the patterns that they see, your health history, and that's how they tell you what they tell you. So whenever clients call me and want to talk about the red they're seeing, I always tell them, just go by what the doctor says. Red is not necessarily bad. For example, in my thermogram, I have a red spot in my breast. I've been doing thermograms for 17 years. Red can be nothing. Red can be lymphatic congestion. Red can be hormone imbalance. Red can be cancer. So you want to really read what the doctor says. And then if there's anything that I can offer in addition to what the doctor says, I'm going to tell you everything I know based on my knowledge base, which you've already given to everybody. And then the doctors will recommend you come back in 3 months for that follow-up to establish a baseline your first year, or come back once a year. And that's the recommendation. Once the baseline, it's once a year, just like a mammogram.
Yes. So this is good, Rachel. Now, your office is in Connecticut, and you go to various wellness centers to do the tomography.
Yes, I have 17 offices that I go in and out of. Every month looks different for me. I have many throughout Fairfield County, New Haven County. Then I have an office in Katona, New York, Carmel, New York, and I'm 3 on Long Island. I'm in Merrick,
Good.
Hotesville, and Belmore. No, no, Merrick, Hotesville, and Huntington.
Yes, because some people, I have some friends in New York who would like to know more about tomography. So I would like them to, so you could send me the schedule uh,
Absolutely.
again. And how much is a tomogram cost?
For me, for most of my offices, it's 230. That
Yeah,
3-month follow-up is 165, and then it's your annual 230. On Long
yeah,
Island, it's 280 because the travel is so extensive for me. Um,
yes.
and then you can scan other parts of your body should you want to, and the prices vary depending on what you scan.
You could do is in addition to just the breast, you could do like a upper
Half
body.
body. Yep, which would be your like right here to the base of your pubic area, or a full body including your legs. And those are great tests too, depending on what you're looking at them for. I had mentioned the teeth earlier, and one of the reasons I love when people do their head and neck and their abdomen is they get the dental area. So all of your teeth are in alignment and correlate to a meridian in the body that are tied to energy centers, and they have organs and glands tied to them. And
Yes,
you have two teeth on the top, both sides, that one of the organs tied is the breast. And what the research has shown for quite some time now is if you have root canals in those teeth, you are more prone to get breast cancer. And I see it all the time.
it's
So we want to be careful about our teeth.
yes. You know, it makes me think of about Psalm 139, a Psalm of David. And David said, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And when you think how God made the body so intricate, and every system is, interrelated, it's just amazing. And he wants his body to be whole.
Yeah.
And it's so important that we take care of the body because it's our earth suit to be here on earth. So, Rachel, I'm so happy that you could come on today because
Thank
I know
you.
you're a very busy lady, to talk about tomography, which is something I believe that, just as I mentioned on my flyer, every woman should consider because going back to what you said, like 8 years before a tumor shows up on a mammogram, there could be problems of hormonal imbalance
Yep.
that a woman has a tomogram and something like that comes on. It might not necessarily be cancerous, but it's something that could be taken care of by changing your lifestyle, doing things differently so that it does not have to go into something that brings disease. So we thank God that for tomography as a screening ahead of time and not just waiting for a mammogram or some other test to say there's a disease. And the most important thing is taking care of the body. And we emphasize the lymphatic system because the lymphatic system, and when you hear people who have came down with this dreadful disease, it's because some of them have to go and take their lymph nodes out. So
Yes.
God made the system so beautiful. So we want to keep it healthy by doing the stuff. So I want to thank you again. And before, so you are in Connecticut and you're also in Long Island. So you could reach out, Rachel, anything else you would want to tell people about your practice
No,
or give them your website because I know you have a new website.
I do
Uh,
have a new website. Yes.
Yes, tell them about you. Give them your new website. I have whole health tomography, but you have whole health holistic.
Holistics. Yeah. Whole Health Holistics with an S, because it highlights the energy work that we now do. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. It's such a blessing what you do. And if you could hear me talk about you, your smile would be shining bright. You're a gift to this planet for sure. And I just one parting, you had mentioned stress and sleep. I always say to my clients, what are you doing every day to reduce your stress? Because if you're not actually doing something every day, you're not doing enough. And it doesn't have to look like anything. It just has to be a concentrated effort, because we are bombarded with stress and in so many different ways, and we weren't designed for that. And so if I can just leave anybody who may take time to hang out with you and I for this chat, to really look at their stress and their sleep.
Yes,
Sleep.
because uh, coming back to one of David's Psalms in the Old Testament, it says that he gives his beloved sleep. And
There
God
you go.
knows why he said that in his word. Restorative sleep is where we get rejuvenation at the cellular level. Our immune system get a boost. So sleep, all of this, we don't want to burn the candle at both ends. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. And thank you, Rachel. And before we end our broadcast, I wanted to mention about this package that the Lord has made. And in the package is the Bless Your Breast card, which I use every day. And some one thing you mentioned, Rachel, that women need to do, you stand in the mirror, you know, and jiggle your breast. You know, we're not ashamed. We are beautiful creatures. We stand in the mirror. We are loving ourselves. And God had me uh, name this card "Bless Your Breast" with the Word of God, where we pray over our breasts, asking God to bless our breasts, and we affirming His thoughts of wholeness. And this have with the lymphatic massage oil, where we massage under the arm, right here where you mentioned about the lymph points here under the arms, under the breast. We massage it while we pray. And I was happy that I met a massage therapist that came up with, he gave me, and it was a male, he gave me this chart about how to massage your breast, the direction.
Wow.
It's a whole chart. I don't know if you could see it. How to massage your breast with the lymphatic massage oil. And this is all organic. It's just calendula oil and ginger root.
Mm.
Organic ingredients to massage the breast. And which we discussed today, nutrients for breast health. So all of this is in a package. So ladies, if you want the package, go to my website and you purchase the package. So I want to thank um, you for listening. Thank you again, Rachel, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and share such vital information. And as we say, we are looking at the month of October not as a breast cancer awareness. We are looking at it in a positive manner. Breast health. Actually, every month we should talk about breast health, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Every month, not October, every month, we are looking how to keep this body healthy because there's only one body to live on this planet. So as we close, I have this statement that I must say. I stand in the mirror most times and I say, I am a wonderfully whole woman because the wonderful one, Christ, lives in me. He's doing wonderful things for me, in me, and through me. Signs and wonders have followed me because I believe. So the power of confession, there's something happens when we speak the right things over ourselves. Good things happen, good things, we encounter good things. So thank you for being on. I see one person is on. Thank you for being on. And those who will listen to this broadcast, I pray that I know you will be blessed as you take the steps that Rachel and I mentioned today. So be well and be wonderfully whole. God bless.
Thank you.